This conference will now be recorded.
See, old guys do learn new tricks. I learned to turn the thing on this time. So I'm going to call this to order at 5:30 p.m. We are operating under the continued governor's executive order. However, we do have all three trustees that are present at the village office. Remotely, we've got Chad Insko, Jimmy, and Sally Bennett. I expect Mary Gaziano will join in, but I think we'll proceed in her absence and we can move forward. Does anybody have a conflict of interest to disclose?
Nope.
Any changes to the agenda? Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make that motion to approve.
I'll second.
Those in favor, Adam?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
And Mike is a yes. No public comment? We have a motion to approve the minutes from February the 7th.
I'll make that motion.
I will second that.
There's Mary. Hello
Good
there.
afternoon, Mary.
Oh, hi.
We just took a motion and a second on the approval of the minutes. Anybody aware of any corrections, omissions, clarifications?
I think I just had one thing. Let me just look real quick.
I started reading them, but I didn't finish it, so I didn't see a problem with this.
The only thing I saw was on page 3 in the first paragraph. I'm starting, I guess, on the second line. Trustee LaFever questioned if there was a price discussed on a 5-year lease, to which Mr. Insko stated it was not discussed due to prices of leasing and renting. I think it should be having increased exorbitantly since COVID. So just insertion of the word having. That's all I saw.
Okay, and that's about where I realized I needed to leave the house to get here on time, so that's,
Oh.
so. Okay, so we'll make that technically correct, but we'll make that grammatical correction. So with the minutes, with making that adjustment, those in favor, Jeremy?
Yes.
Adam?
Yes.
And Mike is a yes. Okay, we got to get adjusted to this new format, so we're into section 7 on the discussion. Item A, the only thing I noted on the report that Sally sent out here in the last day or so was that she did have I guess it shows up as an expense, but really it's probably the return of the outstanding money on the escrow, which closes out the $5,000.
That's correct.
So, yeah, so I did not see any other, go ahead, any other comments, Sally?
I just had one other comment. Last month, I had talked with Kent, who is the accountant for Sullivan's, and just because Sullivan's were tracking on this sheet, I wanted to bring it up. He was waiting for the payment from the rebate that we do every year. And so he called and I talked to him about it. And then he said, well, I didn't know if you were holding it because you wanted to reduce the payment. And I said, well, you know, I didn't think you were interested in doing that. And he said, we're not. And in fact, it's because we had to build that road. We'll never make a deal. So I just wanted to tell you that he said that, and that I think that's off the table for Sullivan. So we're very close. We're probably, if things go the same, the first quarter of 2024, we will pay it off.
I guess what does one have to do with the other?
I guess
I mean,
just that they're mad.
I mean, the issue is we had a payback agreement. I think what you brought up a previous meeting is the possibility of paying it off early. Was that correct?
Mhm.
And so,
Correct.
and so what was their issue?
Well, when I was pitching it to him about paying it off early, Chad and Frank and I had discussed asking for it to be discounted for doing that. And that was his response was, oh no, we're not doing that. We're fine with just letting it play out because, and he alluded to the road. So,
I guess I was not aware when it got mentioned previously that payoff early involved a discount, and so, okay. And I guess
Sally
if they
was
have,
just, yeah. Sally was just
Pardon?
doing her normal good job as treasurer, trying to get us a deal.
No, well, I don't have any objection to that. I guess I was just missing the connection. It's like, well, what does that have to do with anything? But, so, and I guess if they're got plenty of cash in their pocket and they don't have a reason to invest it, they are probably better off just, waiting for it to, although with the inflation, the sooner they get it, the more valuable it is.
you know, and I guess we could pay full price and pay it off, but I don't think that really benefits us
No.
to do that.
Mhm.
So
That was my only comment, was a little bit of gossip, I guess.
But what road did they put in that was not planned, or?
Probably the wing right there off the edge of the parking lot from the stop sign. I'm assuming it's technically a road, because you plow
Well,
that, right, Chad?
Landmark was the second requirement with the subdivision ordinances before my time, but it was caught late in the game that they had to have two exits. And that was part of the subdivision requirement. So Landmark to the north, they funded.
Okay. You see, actually, all that was before my time on the village, so that's why you say I'm kind of oblivious to some of that, so.
But
Well,
it also had opened up developable lots. They still own several developable lots. So it was really a subdivision, not just a store. So they were just asked to play by the rules, but somehow figured out a way to get paid to do it.
and I remember Mr. Sullivan, before he passed, came to a board meeting, and it just happened to be Vivian's last meeting, and he was complaining about the road to her because she was on the board at that time.
Okay.
But yeah, it was before my time also, but they're still mad.
Well, you know what? I guess I'm gonna learn some history on Winnebago here when I get some time with the, Winnebago Historical Society. I don't think it'll talk about the road, but I'll see what else I can learn. Whoops. Okay, so thank you for the updates on that. Any updates on Four Rivers?
Let me turn my mic on. We don't have it set yet. I did reach out to Attorney Fitzgerald, but that closing should be soon, but not yet.
Okay. Any updates on the IEAPA loan funding project, Chad?
The project is in progress and there's no board action required at this time.
Okay. How about D&E, Winnebago County Axiom Geospatial and your IEPA lead and copper?
Those projects are ongoing. There's forward motion on both, particularly the Axiom Geospatial Asset Inventory with Winnebago County. We've worked with them to do the request for proposals for interested parties that can conduct the work under the terms of the grant. The county, of course, has the lead, but that that work is ongoing and does not require board action at this time.
Okay. "2023 road project."
Because we're using motor fuel tax funds for some of this, the project has to be IDOT reviewed. The documents are off to IDOT for the review stage, with our timeline being slightly adjusted. If we get the review and approvals from IDOT, we'll be going out to bid with the bid date in late March. So we won't be requesting board action until the April meeting.
Okay. Okay, the farm property renewal, is that all signed, sealed? Both
To
sides?
to my knowledge, we're aware that Mitchell signed, that we presented the lease, they picked it up and signed it, and we believe they returned the lease with the check.
Okay,
Sally's
That's my
acknowledging.
understanding as well.
okay. Any further developments on the roller?
Yes, and I was gonna ask that we perhaps roll item G and I together.
Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped right over G.
That's all right. If we wrap G into I, then we're A-okay, I think.
Okay,
So with the discussions regarding that item, we from the village perspective had discussed trying to buy that unit that we've previously leased for our usage. Don't know that that can go on in perpetuity any longer. And also we'd like to own that unit. So there's a couple options as we've previously talked about. One would be to do a lease to own with the current provider. And that could be a 2-year or a 3-year option, but it would carry some financial burden in the form of an interest, or two, to buy it outright today or this year if the board saw fit.
I think when we discussed it previously, you had suggested possibly the outright purchase, but at that point in time, it didn't seem Mr. Mitchell was interested. Is that correct, or did?
We weren't certain. We thought that was maybe the outlay, but some things have changed from his perspective, and they just don't. Their business endeavors have changed to where they don't need to own it. They would rather rent a larger one or a different one on the occasion they do need it. And they've actually looked into trading this in on a different unit, but wanted to give us first rights to purchase it.
So do you have an idea what the outright purchase would be, and if it was over a 2 or 3 year, what interest
Yes.
rates would?
Yeah, so if we were to buy it today, it would be $27,000. if we were to do a 2-year lease to buy 28.5 and a 3-year lease to buy, it would be 30K. So I would like to present to the committee to, most of you know the history. We've used it, we've rented it. It's a low hour, it's hard to get iron. It's highly used by us. We would like to buy it at that price point of 27,000, and knowing that we had significant savings in our budgeted amount for the front end loader, that money does exist in the capital equipment fund. And we do think that would be the best opportunity.
Sally, from your perspective, or Jeremy, does that fit into the scheme of things that you're aware of?
I can see that working out. That is something I wanted to ask. I haven't seen any invoices for the skid loader.
Probably won't see that till we probably take delivery of it, but that was gonna be what, sometime after April 1st, Chad?
Yeah, after April 1st for the payloader, and then to clarify again, we had budgeted 240 for the payloader, and that was before trade-in. So our capital outlay is 150 with, after trade-in. So we're, in layman's terms, we're 90K to the good. We know we're working on some other things that might get pushed to the wire. The truck is going to be a little more money. We've got some lines out there. Everything that's lining up is still right under budget from the previous budget. So we're not scared to death. But again, based on our budget, we're 90K under what we anticipated, and this would be a valid asset.
So would somebody like to make a motion that we recommend board approval to purchase the roller that we've been leasing for an outright $27,000?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Chad, can you tell me what that trade-in amount was, just roughly?
It was about 58,000. Is that right, Jim? 58. Really close to 58,000 was trade-in on the 2006 payloader.
Did you have a copy of that, Sally? Because it does show the traded value on it. On the,
I was just gonna point out that we put the full 240 in the expense side, and then we have on the income side the trade-in value.
Okay.
And under O&M, we have 15,000. Okay. It's kind of confusing because of all the transfers, but I think we're in good shape. I don't think I need to do all that math. I think Chad's right. 27 wouldn't be a big deal at all.
okay. And it still gives you a little bit of room on some overage for the dump truck, so. Any other thoughts, comments, questions? Hearing none, those in favor, Adam?
Yes.
Jeremy?
Yes.
And Mike is a yes. So we get down a little further, board action, items for discussion board, which will be purchase. Okay, so anything else on the equipment, Chad?
No.
That would be line item 5144951 for the
I'm
purchase.
sorry, one more time, please.
5144951.
Thank you. Any requests from the police department yet on the radar installation?
No, we are looking that we may move the one on McNair a couple poles west. There's another straight pole, and we just need the ground to be a little more firm so we can get the payloader over there. But we think we're gonna jump that one west a couple 100 feet, and we're gonna keep talking with Nick and see what they think the right placement is.
Yeah, there's just some frost on the ground.
Okay, and again, probably no live action on the videos until we try to set something up with the board like we discussed. Is that kind of the police department's point of view at this point from committee? Is there any other action on there other than trying to get a global perspective of where we're going? Anybody?
Adam, you're on police, right?
I mean, other than them waiting to try to overall board direction, it's,
Yeah, she's just waiting.
again, no activity required on the park until we can kind of get a committee together. We did discuss that community development to try to get a kind of a subcommittee together with some, interested parties to discuss, some options and everything on there.
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Will there need to be a resolution for the purchase of the roller?
Probably.
I just thought it was worth mentioning.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
I-
assumed that.
Just want to
So
do it.
That,
I'll work that out with Kelly. Sometimes she does it, sometimes I do it, but
yeah,
she looks
this
at the minutes, she'll
this
know.
was, yeah, and then in the crunch time or whatever, against the wire, I've done a few of them. My formatting is not as pretty as you experts, but get the job done. But yeah, it's the fact that we're a week and a half ahead, hopefully they can get it done. But yeah, usually if they're straightforward enough, it's probably to the village benefit to get them done internally. And clearly she didn't want to do the last one. What was the one from community development that she got on Mary real quick about? So.
Well, sometimes it's just the subject matter, that is.
Well, yeah, well, it is.
a
It's,
little
if
confusing.
she's floundering trying to interpret it, in that particular case, it becomes more, expedient that you get it done. So, but yeah, I'm trying to, there was one out of community development that she wanted to move off of quick. So, yeah, I'll put that note on there, and then if you can get together and coordinate with Kelly who does that one, but yes, that would require a resolution. Anything else on here, Chad, that you're ready to discuss? Oh, the building,
You're muted, Chad.
Yep, sorry. I was really, I heard Mike start to talk when I realized I wasn't talking.
I guess
So-
probably the one that's most important to you, we just need to get more insight on our direction, is probably the building.
Yes, we would appreciate that, and we're at the ready for whatever direction the board wants to go. We'll get right back after it from our side. So everybody already knows where that one is. Really, the only other thing that's big for us is Four Rivers Sanitation District. They had done that smoke testing in the fall. They're starting to pull their work orders and call in Julie's for that exercise. So folks around town, you'll start seeing a little more Four Rivers Sanitation District, a lot of construction starting here when the road postings shape up. They had a couple emergency calls recently here, but they'll be scattered all over town in the old part of town. So just want to make everybody aware between now and our next meeting, there'll be some construction activity, and it's mostly just repairs of clean out tops and broken services, predominantly at the property lines. A couple manholes, but we had already gone through a majority of those. So you'll just see a little bit of that, but that's just for information. No action required from our part.
Probably what, the next 4 to 6 weeks, or what do you figure, 2 months?
Yep.
4 to 6?
The work orders are coming in and the Julie locates are coming in front of us right now. So I'd say
Okay.
4 weeks, 2 to 6 weeks as things open up with Mother Nature permitting. And then the water meters I think we're only getting a box a month, 24 a month. We're trying. They just the inventory loosens up and we get some, and then we get told they don't know when we're getting more. So we've put out everything we have. The last one went in today. We've got a focus area over at Clayton Courts. A lot of those have aged out. There's some larger meters there requiring a little bit more dedicated task. We have to do a little plumbing change out of flanges and adapters due to the change in style. While we were doing some water meter upgrades, we saw Clayton Court still had water softeners. They were told to get them out of the system 10 years ago because they weren't being used and they would be considered cross connection. So they're getting those out of there right now, and they're talking about doing an upgrade, but we had some very serious conversations with their staff regarding the same. But that area's kind of become a lingering nuisance to us because it's not residential size meters and it's harder to get the larger E-Series meters. They were saying 16 weeks out. So they've gone to northern Wisconsin and found a few communities that had some fresher inventory. We got a couple of those, but we're going to need a half a dozen, and they're just not out there yet. So the office is doing a great job scheduling. We're doing a good job getting them in, but we just are struggling with that inventory issue.
Anything else of any of these? I know there are more placeholders than they are, and you work on them as your time, but any other updates?
No further updates this evening.
Any new business from anybody?
I just emailed Sally. She just told me that the fiscal year ended yesterday, or financials, and I was asking a question how our water rates went last year compared to our expenses. So I guess something to look at with inflation, how sky high it went last year, and see how close we were with that water rate increase. So maybe next month we'll talk about it.
Okay, well, I'll put that on the agenda, and so.
So, I mean, just
Good
like
day
to
to
be
look at.
aware.
Okay, for the attorney, all we need then, Mary, if you can just kind of coordinate with Kelly, who does the resolution on the BOMAG, and then just continue to follow through on Four Rivers on the closing, and I think that's all we need of you at this particular time.
Okay.
No need for executive session. Next meeting date, Adam, how's your, let's see, if we probably idealistically, we would probably be somewhere around, where are we at? Probably,
How about Monday, March 3rd? Or April 3rd, excuse me.
well, they're trying to get us 2 weeks in advance. I mean, that's what we used to do.
I may not be in town the week prior. So
Okay.
we haven't officially decided if we're traveling yet.
You're looking the last week of March then?
Well, he's not the week prior, then, I mean, we can go to the 3rd if we have to. I mean, ideally, we would have tried to do something during the the week of the 27th, but if Adam's not going to be available.
We can set it for that week and if I remote it or remote it, I mean.
Okay, what day would be best for you during the week of the 27th based on your work schedule?
Let's do Tuesday, the 28th.
Okay. Any sporting events, Chad, or anything?
I'm good anytime after, I can do 5 o'clock. Is the earliest.
But you don't know, I mean, you know you're good after 5, but you may or may not be earlier?
4:30 practice ends, so I'll
Oh.
be here, I can be ready
Okay.
at 5.
So why don't we plan on Tuesday, 28th of March, 5 o'clock PM. I'll accept a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
I will second it.
Far improvement over the last couple meetings or whatever, so my wife will be surprised that when I get
So
home.
am I. So am I.
So those in favor, Jeremy,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
and Mike is a yes. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
See
you.
you later.
Good night.
Let's cross our fingers that the public works doesn't have to plow a bunch of snow on Friday.
Yes.
That should be all on that one.
Good
Take
night.
care.